and we need solutions. But more importantly, it's important to note who is now talking about the problem. Because if I have a problem and I keep shouting about it, and then one day Dangote shouts about that same problem, it seems to have a different life. Why? Because of the person speaking. Now, this time, it's the presidency that is speaking. What are they talking about? President Bola Tinubu's aide, Hadiza Bala Usman, the special advisor to the president on policy and coordination and head of the Central Delivery Coordination Unit. Now, that is a mouthful. But long and short of the story is she's a part of the presidency. Said that the federal government has vowed, in other words, promised to end the misuse of police and other security personnel by VIPs, very important persons, insisting that elite protection should no longer cause offense of national security. My goodness. Bala Usman expressed concern over the diversion of police officers and specialized squads from other security agencies from critical security assignments to VIP escort duties. According to her, this practice has overstretched the nation's security agencies and deprived ordinary Nigerians of needed protection. In her words, one of the most disturbing things for me is when VIPs arrive somewhere with so many policemen, trailing them, while the areas that actually need security are left unattended. We cannot continue to deploy police trained for anti-terrorism operations just to guard individuals in Ikoyi. This one, she mentioned Ikoyi. She might have something against that place, but it's not just Ikoyi, my dear. It's almost everywhere. This is wrong. The presidential aide stressed that the government was working to amend the Private Guards Companies Act to empower licensed private security firms to take over VIP protection roles. So in other words, now the presidency is speaking. Does it make any difference? Well, time will tell. But Nigerians have been speaking. The police itself has been speaking. Civil society have been speaking. Activists have been speaking. That we first do not even have enough policemen already. Now, the small that we are managing, VIPs have now collected. Now, let's start by who is a VIP. I think that the definition is in the title, a very important person. Meaning that that person is more important than you and I. I want to believe that we are the common man. I'm not exactly a VIP. I'm not gotten to the level where I would need a police escort. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I wanted to say by the special grace of God. But when you're a high-profile person in politics, in business, in entertainment, a celebrity, in some cases, even traditional rulers, there are people who we know. Let's not kid ourselves. The need for their security is very important, right? They are considered VIPs. The data around the number of policemen we have it's not clear. We've had estimated figures. It's fluctuating. But the last time we checked, we do not have up to 1 million police officers across the country from the latest available data, unless something changed this morning, guarding over 200 million Nigerians. I think we have something around the corridors of 500,000 or maybe 6, 7, but not up to 1 million. Unless if the data is updated and they say, Sam is wrong, as of this morning, we are reporting 2 million. So, okay, to God be the glory. So we are desperately under-policed. That we don't, reach. If VIP now collect inside, it's safe to say that we are not just under-policed anymore. We don't have police again. And, VIP, they don't take one, they don't take two. It's almost as if they just open the door, say, Chairman, sir, just collect if you are tired. Why? We know that those at the top, both in the private and the public sector, almost always drive around in a motorcade, what we call convoy. So if a guy is coming, senator, minister, VIP, businessman, celebrity, musician, unfortunately, and this one is pissing me off, even Yahoo Boy. Oga's car is not the only car. For it to be a motorcade, that means there are other cars. So 1, 2, maybe 3 cars will first, be in front before the main SUV that is carrying chairman. Then maybe another 2. Every time, those who drive know this now. Whenever you're driving, you just hear siren, wheel, 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 wheel. You just shift one side. You know that it's not one car that will pass you. Phew, phew, phew. Lexus. What's the name of the other one? It's always black. Sometimes no number plates, and they just go saying, hey, they don't come. And half the time, you don't even know who it is. 7 or 8 police officers. You see that win. 10 police don't go. That are supposed to be on Choba as we are talking. They are. I don't like that every conversation sounds like a rant. You know what? After this break, I'll be professional. We would analyze. We will not complain. Stay with us. Sam Chinedu here. We're having conversations on matter. We're talking about the deployment of police officers as personal bodyguards to VIPs. Well, a presidential aide, Hadiza Bala Usman, says it's time to stop using policemen as bodyguards for VIPs. Speaking in Abuja on Thursday, Bala Usman warned that diverting officers from anti-terrorism and other critical duties to escort the elite is leaving ordinary Nigerians exposed. She called it completely wrong. So that's the conversation we're holding at this time. Now, there were conversations around amending an act to ensure that private security can be deployed, and that is the Private Guards Companies Act. It is from 1986. Yes, it's that old. And so these are the provisions. No organization may offer services like watching, guarding, patrolling, or money escort unless they are incorporated under CAMA, which is Companies and Allied Matters Act, have applied for and received a license from the minister or designated licensing authority, are wholly owned by Nigerians. Existing companies had a grace period of 6 months to apply, must cease operations if not licensed within 12 months. And there are lots of provisions here. So, what happens in other countries? Because most times you have to look to what we like to call saner climes. Some countries, depending on the one you want to look at, have police officers attached to only top government officials. And by top, we're talking the president, the vice president, and the chief justices. Of course, governors here and there. Maybe a few ministers. But the reps, legislators, do not have private security. Do not have police escort. Because they represent the people. And the fact that this happens like this tells you one thing. First of all, the security in the country is nothing to write anywhere about, whether home or abroad. So the fact that the VIPs feel that they need that extra security, it tells you that they cannot walk